everyone, it's Glenda with Fralins and Friends. Tonight is a story. I've had this one on my list for a little while, and it's came to the top of the list, or I got to it on the list, trying to adjust here. So I'm going to read it to you tonight, and I hope you enjoy. The only house on the block. Sandy and her two children, Howard, 9, and Isabella, 7, moved to a very small village. The real estate lady sold her the only house available in the village. Her new job was in a town 15 miles north, but the prices of housing far exceeded her ability to pay. She'd asked Flora, the real estate agent, why it looked so barren, the town. Flora said it was a large estate, but the price was low because few people ever moved there. When she asked why, since the prices were so low, the agent said that it was once a silver mining town. Some kids got lost in a silver mine and it was shut down. People left and moved to the city. The first day they moved into the 4,000 square foot home, Sandy took a tour. The furnishings left behind, mostly outdated. The movers would arrive the next day with her own furniture and other items. She and the children each packed one suitcase of clothing. Sandy also brought pizza and cola for supper and a cooler of food for the fridge and bags of canned and dry goods. Sandy felt shocked when the phone rang. She jumped. A hardline phone on the wall next to the door that she came through. "Hello," she answered, almost afraid. "Hi, Sandy, it's Flora." "I thought I'd wandered into someone else's house." Flora laughed. "That's hardly possible." "What's up?" Sandy asked, a little irritated that Flora didn't call her cell phone. "I did tell you the estate has a couple to care for the house and garden, didn't I?" "I think you said something about it, but I don't think I can afford to keep them on." Flora said their names are Damon and Jennifer Johnson. "Sandy," Flora continued, "this is such a large home. It will be nearly impossible for you to take care of it for yourself. The estate paid them through the end of the year. They would like to live on the estate. It would be easier for them and you." "That does make a difference. Oh, and Sandy dear, our company has filled the refrigerator with perishables and the cupboards with canned goods, flour, and that kind of stuff. You won't need to worry about groceries for a while. It's a thank you from purchasing the house. That's why the electricity is on and the phone hooked up. Why didn't you call my cell phone? Oh, I forgot to get your cell number." "Wow, thank you and your company." Sandy stopped short. "I think I need to find my children. I haven't heard from them for a while. I think they must be exploring." "Sandy," Flora's voice changed from cheerful to concerned, "I forgot to tell you. None of you should go into the basement of the north wing." "Why?" Sandy asked. "There is a mine entrance there. The doors are locked, but the Johnsons have the keys somewhere. I'd let them keep it." "Thank you for the warning. I wish I'd known." "I know, dear. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be a problem if they keep the keys." "Sandy, I must find my children." "Okay, dear. Yes, good night. Let me know if there's any problem." Sandy walked through the first floor. They separated the south wing with doors that were locked. Each level had a key, which Sandy did have one for each, but decided to keep them. She made the rounds of the first floor. The rooms loomed large with high ceilings. The description gave the measurements of 12-foot ceilings. Each room, Sandy yelled out the children's names. Howard, Isabella, where are you? Answer me. No matter where she went, the children weren't there. She yelled their names throughout the search. Oh, dear Lord, please, don't let them be hurt. Help me find my children. Then she heard the voices and looked out the east window. There they were, playing tag. Thank you, Jesus. There was a porch she hadn't seen. She ran out. Children, you scared me. I couldn't find you. Sorry, Mom, they said together. Did you know there's a cave under our house? Oh, shoot. Please tell me you didn't go in. No, not today. They have a bunch of boards over it with a hazard sign. Howard spoke up. Take me there, she insisted. Well, it's a long way that way, Howard replied, pointing south. She knew she had two very adventurous and curious children. How far? She asked. Isabella said, Come on, Mom, we'll show you. They walked 2 blocks to the edge of a village. The road gradually went downhill all the way. At the bottom of the hill, the children pointed at an entrance to the silver mine a few feet away. Stay here, kids. Sandy walked toward the boarded up mine entrance. She stood back in shock. On the ground in front of the mine, she saw a pile of paper plates. Some crumbled and deteriorated. At the top of the pile, fresh plates with half-eaten fruit and chicken bones. Someone's in that mine, and someone is feeding them. Children, you are never to go near this again. Someone is living in it. Yes, Mom, that's what I wanted to tell you, Howard said. She saw a farmhouse ahead that looked well cared for and had tractors and cars in the driveway. She felt a little less isolated. She would talk to whoever lived there, but first she needed to get her children home and call Flora. She put the pizza on the kitchen table and then called Flora from her cell phone. Flora, what can you tell me about the mine entrance at the bottom of the hill? There is someone living in there. Then nothing except a muffled phone and some voices in the background. Flora, Sandy said impatiently. I'm sorry, Sandy. I don't know anything about someone living in the mine. That's so insane. Flora, I am not crazy, and I did see the piles of plates and food sitting outside the mine on the ground. Sandy, I'm not saying you're crazy. I'm surprised to hear about it. I have my family here, and they don't know either. I'm on my cell phone, Flora. If you find anything, let me know by texting me or calling. Yes, of course I will. Flora sounded about ready to cry. The phone went silent and Sandy made sure the call ended. Everyone slept in the living room that night. The children on the carpeted floor in some sleeping bags and Sandy with a blanket on the sofa. She wanted the children near her. When the Johnsons arrived the next morning, Sandy quickly sent the children outside to play. "Stay close, you two." The couple approached her from the drive. "Welcome to your new home," Damon said, and took Sandy's hand that she held out for a welcoming handshake. "I take it you are the Johnsons?" "Yes, me, and this is my wife Jennifer. We've been working here for all the years that nobody has lived here to care for it. Come on in. There is something that I need to know," Sandy almost whispered. She noticed the two looking at each other as if they knew what was coming. They all sat at the table. Sandy questioned them about all they'd found about the mine, the entrance, and whoever was living in it. "Oh, my dear," Jennifer said softly, with a tear in her eye. "That is our own son, John. After the children disappeared, we all had nightmares. Our son's the only one of those children left alive. We found him there after he scratched and kicked on the door in the basement. We don't know what exactly happened. He somehow lived there for 5 months. We tried to ask him about the other children, but he doesn't speak anymore. He did guide us to a pile of bones," Jennifer sobbed. "What my wife is trying to say is that we don't know if our son had anything to do with it, the deaths of the children." Sandy felt anger. "Why in the world didn't you call the police and bring him out?" Damon spoke up again. "He won't come out. Now he's in his 30s. That's why we stayed here. We didn't call the police for a very reason that you said we should. Please forgive us. You're a mother. Please keep our secret." Sandy sat back in her chair and made a deep sigh. "I'm sorry, but I must call the sheriff. I have children of my own, and I must think of them. Besides, you aren't helping your son by hiding him away." Jennifer stood up and ran to another room. They could hear her sobbing. Sandy had tears beginning to fall from her own eyes, but couldn't give in to their emotions. "One more thing." She looked at Damon, "Who lives on that farm not far from there?" "That's my brother's farm. We stay with him when we aren't living here." "You've already been living here?" Sandy was surprised. Damon bowed his head. "Yes, with the permission of the estate. Now that it's sold, we'll find somewhere else if you wish." Sandy pulled out her cell phone. She sighed as she dialed the sheriff's office from the old phone book instead of 911. She wanted to call directly ahead on this situation. The sheriff had quite a struggle with John, but they did get him back to in the back of an ambulance after a doctor who followed them to the scene sedated him. A crew of searchers combed the mine. They found the bones and came back with some unexpected news. There weren't any human teeth marks or marks from a weapon. Instead, the children's bones had marks from an animal. They recognized the claw marks of a bear's paw on the inside of the cave walls. They also found the remains of the bear. Somehow, John must have killed the bear with an old pick they found by the skull of the animal remains. The Johnsons were arrested and the judge gave them both 5 years in prison for not reporting the remains and abuse of their son by neglecting his needs emotionally and developmentally. Sandy and the children never finished their move into the large estate. The money was returned that she'd made a down payment, and she found a 3-bedroom apartment in the town where she worked. She could hold it for the return of the estate. Within a year, she heard that John Johnson became verbal again. He told the story of the cave, which isn't in this story. Thank you all for listening. Hope you all enjoyed that story. If I have to write the next segment of it, let me know. And I hope I edited all my mistakes out. Love you all. See you tomorrow. I think we're going to start a haunted house. Good night.